Aloha family and friends. On behalf of Oahu Mortuary and Cemetery, we offer our deepest condolences to family of Florence Pua Albao. She was 95 and she left the temple to be into the eternal on January 8, 2018. I would like to welcome now Mr. Fletcher Bull. He will be the MC for this service.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. We're here to celebrate the life of Florence Pua Albao. I'm Fletcher. I'm her grandson, and I'll be the MC for today. And first, I just wanted to welcome everybody that was able to travel here from long distances, from California, Hawai'i, and Maui. Thank you, everyone, for coming. And before we start, I just wanted to say that one part of today is being able to remember Grandma Pua and her life. And I think another part that's important is that it's pretty rare that we're all together here in this room. And I think just seeing everyone before the service was really special. So I think part of what makes today special is that we can be here together and share with each other together and just really enjoy our time. So with that, we're going to start with the Lord's Prayer by Sam Kapu III.
So honored to be here for Auntie Pua's memorial and celebration of life and her love for our Hawaiian culture. We'd like to start our service this morning in Pule. So if I could ask everyone to bow their hearts. Pule kako. E ko mako makua I loko o kolani. E ho ano ia koino. E hiki mai ko au puni. E mālama ia ko make maka honua nei. E like me ia I mālama ia mā kalani la. E hāawi mai ia mā ko e ki ia la. I aina mā ko no nei ala. E kala mai ho'i ia mā ko, I kā mā ko la vela kale ana. Me mā ko e kala nei I ka poe, I ka lawe ala ia mā ko. Mai ho oi ia mā ko I ka ho'o vale ia mai. E ho'o pākele no nae ia mā ko I ka inu, no ka mea, no ke au puni, a me ka mana, a me ka ho'onani ia a mālu loa. Honani ka makua mau, ke hi me kauhane no. He a pua mau, o mai ka ipu. Ko ke au, ko
Next, I'd like to ask Auntie Joni to come to the front. Auntie Joni will perform a hula to the song Le Halia, which means Lay of Memories. And she asked if we all could listen to the music. of a video presentation created by our cousin Scott. It's about 9 minutes and it's a tribute to Grandma Pua's life.
I remember when the ocean spoke my name, living easy, moving slow. That's what I used to know. I remember me. So I reach for the stars. I may land on the moon. No need to explain why you're born with a silver spoon. But please don't forget, you will always make my day when you give away aloha, aloha miles away, aloha miles away. I remember when the palm trees masked my pain, giving shelter, running free. That's what I used to be. So I reach for the stars. I may land on the moon. No need to explain why you're born with a silver spoon. But please don't forget, you will always make my day when you give away aloha, aloha miles away, aloha miles away. Home is where your heart is, no matter what they say. I am always with you, aloha miles away. Home is where your heart is, no matter what they say. I am always with you, aloha miles away, aloha miles away, aloha miles away. Tale hua no ia nakanoi, e ta'u no ia, e anoi ne, e alia ne. Ho'i o te hiti mai, e hiti puna me te aloha, aloha e, aloha e. E hiti puna me te aloha, aloha e, aloha e. Home is where your heart is, no matter what they say. I am always with you, aloha miles away. Home is where your heart is, no matter what they say. I am always with you, aloha miles away, aloha miles away, aloha miles away. Ona on What do you see when you look at me? With your eyes, they say what words cannot convey. I am just like you, but something within me makes me fly. I wish you could be here and just give love a try. I'm caught up in the rainbow, flying high on colored beams of light. I'm caught up in the rainbow, can't believe I'm on the other side. Outside, looking in. If only you could see what I see. Just be where I've been, and you will see it is not a sin to love. We are all the same. We are all the same. We all feel the pain when we cry. How can I make you see that we need humanity? I'm caught up in the rainbow, flying high on colored beams of light. I'm caught up in the rainbow, can't believe I'm on the other side. Outside, looking in. If only you could see what I see. Just be where I've been, and you will see it is not a sin to love. I want you to be free from all the chains that bind you now. When you love, you're free. In paradise is where we'll find you. In paradise is where we'll find you. In the rainbow, flying high on colored beams of light. I'm caught up in the rainbow, can't believe I'm on the other side. Outside, looking in. If only you could see what I see. Just be where I've been, and you will see it is not a sin to love. I'm caught up in the rainbow. I'm caught up in the rainbow. Caught up in the rainbow.
Thank you, Scott. That was a lot of great memories there. This next part is the eulogy and sharing memories. So this part was supposed to be, a way to, be able to share more about Grandma. And before I invite the grandchildren to say a few words, here's just a little bit about Grandma Pua. She was born Florence Pua Albao in Ko'olau, Hawaii on April 28, 1922, to Charles and Emma Mellandish. She had 5 siblings: Isaac, Charles Jr., Salo, and Emma. She went to Ko'olau Elementary and graduated from Kauai High School. Pua married Cecil Albao and had 4 children, Cecile, Cecil Jr., Clint, and Charlotte. They moved their family to Honolulu in 1958. She had 14 grandchildren and 21 great-grandchildren. In 1989, she moved to California. She's splitting her time between Temecula and Hawaii. In 2010, she went to live with granddaughter Christine in Arroyo Grande until she passed on January 8th, 2018. She was a couple months shy of being 96 years old. We'll now ask grandchildren to share a few memories. So from each family, we'll have one representative. Terry, Christine, Johnny, and Aaron.
Good morning. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Cecile's youngest daughter, Terry. And it is a privilege for me to represent our family by offering a few reflections on my grandma Pua. As my family began to share their personal stories and memories of grandma, I quickly realized that she made an impact to our lives and helped shape us to who we are today. As the older grandchildren, my sister Debbie, brother Scott, and I are blessed enough to have meaningful memories of her when she was younger. It was back in the early 70s when we witnessed our grandma Pua, a Kauai native, a wife, a mother, and a grandmother who pursued a new career as a business owner when she opened up a boutique called Exotic Fare located in the Hilton Hawaiian Village in Waikiki. Grandma Pua was my sister and my first official boss. While working for her at her shop, we learned a lot about grandma. We observed her work ethics and how precise and meticulous she was. Everything she handled, from when she placed orders with her vendors to simply ringing up a customer. She was so good with numbers. I would be so amazed when she would calculate the sales tax and total everything in her head without even using a calculator. She also had a special way of making people feel so comfortable. She would extend herself by welcoming them into the shop, just like inviting them into her home. She just knew how to spread that aloha. She was so excited when she would meet the celebrities. Just to name a few, like Elvis Presley and Cher. Pretty impressive, right? Well, I thought she was pretty famous herself back then. Everyone knew who she was at the Hilton Hawaiian Village. I thought she was like the ambassador to the hotel. She truly had a gift and an eye for the latest trends in fashion. Who doesn't remember how glamorous and always put together she looked? As simple as she was, in just applying a little Noxzema on her face and wearing a bronze-colored lipstick on her lips. But it was when she put on those Jackie O sunglasses, she just looked like a movie star. Grandma helped instill the love of fashion for the women in my life. Everyone who knew my mom, back in her days, she was the diva, fashionista. And my sister Debbie, who designed and sewed all my prom dresses during high school, she pursued a love for fashion as well when she attended and graduated from the Fashion Institute of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. As I look back, I don't think it's a coincidence how we all had similar interests. It really was Grandma's influence she had on us. She also sparked an interest and introduced me and my siblings to the business world. I recall, even at an early age, Grandma was the first to create the opportunity for us to earn some real money. One Saturday night during a family get-together, when the adults would play cards and talk story, she made us a business offer. She proposed that she would pay us 10 cents for every white hair we pulled from her head. And a whole dollar to paint both her toenails and fingernails. This was a lot of money back then to us, especially since we got really nothing or maybe very little of an allowance for doing the daily chores. So of course, we jumped at the challenge, and from that day forward, Grandma's business proposition turned into a ritual, and that was the beginning for us young entrepreneurs. My brother Scott had a special connection with Grandma Pua when it came to her Hawaiian heritage. He recalls how much he learned about the culture from the many stories she shared with him. He frequently visited her after moving to New York and vividly remembers their intimate conversations and how her voice had ways of comforting him when times would get so hectic. Grandma Pua would remind Scott to always put love in your heart. He has so much appreciation and love for Hawaii that I truly believe what he does today as a recording artist and author of children's books, he's just like our Grandma Pua, spreading her aloha. There was a consensus on the numerous stories we shared when it came to talking about Grandma's love for playing with a deck of cards and watching all kinds of sporting events. If you probably ask any family member, I bet they witnessed Grandma Pua's natural athletic ability to toss a ball or a piece of paper or even a crumpled up napkin like a basketball and get it into any kind of basket, or maybe even a rubbish can, as my children would recall, and dunking it in on the first try. And you would hear in her cute little voice, "Too good." Sports was a big part of Grandma's life, and it shaped her to being the competitor she was, as she was known to never give up. She taught us how to fight and reminded us how to work hard for what we believed in. She showed us through her commitment, strength, and hope you can overcome any obstacle or challenge. As my mom, Cecile, laughed and cried over these memories we shared together in reflecting our special moments with Grandma Pua, she expressed how Grandma's passing and this process has helped her to see how bold and courageous her mother was in accomplishing all she did in her lifetime, and yet she still managed to be such a supportive and understanding wife and mother. My mom continued to emphasize that her mother was always there to take care of her growing up, and she taught her to be the mother and grandmother that she is today. It was so surreal at that moment when we all got so emotional to hear my mom express and share that about her mother. I then realized how important it is for me to tell my mom and remind her every day how proud I am to be her daughter, and I thank her for being the person she is. There is not a day that goes by that she always shows me and my siblings her support and is our biggest fan. Even when we make mistakes, she continues to love us unconditionally. My mom is so genuine and has such a kind and innocent soul, just like her mother, Grandma Pua. We know Grandma Pua's spirit will live on, and in each and every one of us through the legacy she leaves behind. In closing, I'd like to share a poem my sister Debbie found after the passing of my beloved grandma. Though her smile is gone forever, and her hand I cannot touch, I still have so many memories of the one I love so much. Her memory is now my keepsake, which with I'll never part. God has her in her keeping, and I have her in my heart. I thank my God upon every remembrance of you. Philippians 1:3. Thank you.
I'm Christine. I'm Sunny's daughter. And Grandma was a very unique personality. Like Terry said, she was known for her meticulously matching outfits and the flowers in her hair. But she was equally competitive at cards and an avid sports fan. She could definitely hold her own with the men. After Grandpa passed, I gained a new closeness with my grandma. I was going to school in California and she was living with Clint's family in Temecula. She would make my favorite food to be sure that I would come on the weekends. We would talk and laugh, sometimes until the sun would rise. We had a lot of fun. She would suggest us going to the store even if it was 10 o'clock at night if we were missing an ingredient, if she had the onos for chocolate chip cookies. I often borrowed her crochet tops and her cute clothes, and my friends would ask me where I get all those cool clothes, and they would be floored when they'd find out it was from my grandma. She met her neighbors while living in Temecula and wanted to set me up with one of their sons. I resisted for a long time and thought she was over the idea of me going to meet that family, and she said slyly, "Would you like to take a walk?" So I put on some sandals and we were going out the door, and she sent me back upstairs and said I needed to comb my hair and put on a little lipstick. Yes, I ended up marrying her neighbor, John Minardi. On one occasion, we were at the Minardi's house. They had Italian friends over and family members that were Italian, and throughout our lunch, they spoke in Italian, kind of forgetting that we didn't understand. And I could tell by her glance over at me that she was getting a little frustrated that we couldn't understand anything, and they were talking about food and stories and laughing and going to the kitchen, and she looked at me and under her breath began to speak in Pig Latin. We made our own language. She was never to be outdone. I always wanted Grandma to come and live with me, and it finally came about in 2010 approximately. It was my kids that convinced me, and I'm so proud of them, the way that they loved her and welcomed her into our home. We were honored and blessed to have her. Grandma was even a hit with all of the kids' friends. We had 3 teenagers at the time, and we had football teams coming. They really took to Grandma, and at one point they had to make a rap video, and they even put in some lyrics that gave a nod to Grandma. And I think the lyrics were something like, "Yoo-hoo, are you from Hawaii?" It was sort of an inside joke because she asked them every time they came, multiple times, if they were from Hawaii. Miley would take pictures with Gigi before every dance and her proms. Even if they got ready somewhere else, her and her girlfriend would make sure they would stop in and take a picture with Grandma. On one occasion, we had a fun day. Grandma and I were sitting in the backyard doing our nails on our deck, and Grandma thought we were vacationing on a cruise. I had to laugh and just go with it, but she really taught me how to slow down, and I got to enjoy that time with her. We prayed together at night, and she would tell me that she was confused and a little scared, but that she knew that Jesus was helping her, and she never stopped, never forgot to thank me that she could be with us. While many things grew very cloudy to her, a few things didn't stray far from her heart. They were God, Cecil, and her family. When she broke her hip, we had to move her to a care facility. She was the favorite there. She was the easiest patient and shared the aloha spirit. The nurses always commented how friendly she was. She was always trying to cut her food and push some to the side and offer it to them. She would say, "I didn't touch this portion," and didn't realize that they were nurses. So she would thank them for coming to visit, and she would say, "Oh, I don't know what's inside my refrigerator, but take whatever you like," help herself. On the last day, we were aware she wasn't going to make it. She was surrounded by all of us that were present. She was with family on FaceTime on the phone, and she had many crying nurses. My friend sang her songs and told her that she was beautiful. We assured her that she was loved. We thanked her for being such a good mom and grandmother, and that we would all be fine until we see her again. It was a beautiful moment. And I have a poem that was read at my grandpa's funeral, my grandpa Livingston, and I love how it goes, so this is what I like to share. We knew one morning that God was going to call your name. In life we love you dearly, in death we do the same. It breaks our hearts to lose you, but you did not go alone. For part of us went with you the day God called you home. You've left us peaceful memories, your love is still our guide. And though we cannot see you, you're always by our side. Our family chain is broken and nothing seems the same, but God will call us one by one and the chain will link again. Aloha oi, Grandma.
Hello everybody, I'm Johnny, one of Clint's sons, number 5. And I don't have my, I didn't write out what I'm going to say, but I have some bullet points, so I'll try my best. Grandma lived in the upstairs apartment of our house, and I was a young boy when we moved to Temecula, so as long as I can remember, she was always upstairs, always a short walk away. And, you know, my dad always made it a point to include her and to make an effort to spend time with her. As stubborn as I was to make an effort, there was times where it was forced, and I look back and I'm thankful for that. Yeah, those would be times where I would just be enjoying my time doing things. And he'd say, why don't you just go see Grandma? And so I would do that as a young boy. But as I got older, there was some opportunity to get close with Grandma, especially when I met my wife. But some of the early, one of the coolest memories, but the one I'm most thankful for, was not something I got to do with her, but something that she did for me and some of my siblings, is that when I graduated high school, she paid for a trip to Hawaii, to here, right up the street, and I got to stay with Auntie Charlotte and my cousins, Fletch and Aaron and Amber, and I'll never forget that trip. It's priceless, obviously. All the things that Aaron was able to take, we were just reminiscing about all the mischief we got to get into last night, me and Aaron. And you know, I was able to become close with some you know, Aaron and Fletch, which, looking back, I don't know how else I would have been able to do that. So I'm very thankful for that, and that speaks a lot to Grandma's value in our heritage, and for her to give me the opportunity to come here. I got to surf my first time here. Aaron took me, and now I'm very into surfing, so I think a lot about that, how thankful I am for the warm water experience that I got to have in the ocean. Grandma was really funny. One of the things that I almost, you know, maybe weekly or every so often get to remember her by is when I see a little dime or a penny on the ground. I always think of Grandma because she always stopped to pick it up, and she always made a point to tell us, you know why I picked this up? Well, it's money. Why? Because if I do it every time, and I used to think, well, you'd have maybe $1.43. But it was the principle, and I'm very thankful for, you know, both my dad and her. It was the dad that would make a point to have a relationship with Grandma and to have a connection to the old school, if you could call it. I guess you could call it that. A principled lady she was, but you know, it makes me think about one of our favorite things. My wife and I, when we got married, we would spend our Fridays, you know, our favorite moments. We would play cards with Dad and Grandma, 500 and Auntie, and it was, you know, it was such a good time. And speaking of principle, you know, so she was very competitive, as everyone has mentioned, very competitive. So it was always her and my wife Holly were a team, and yeah, man, so you know, the 500. I don't know how many of you guys play, but you know, she was very principled. So she if we played on Sundays a lot, so she never cheated on Sundays, you know. But you know, I can't even remember all the little tricks. But yeah, one of the fun memories. My dad, he'll never let that one go. There was a time we were 470, and Grandma and Holly were minus 400. They went bald head 2 times, I think, and they ended up winning. And she never let that one go. She wrote that one in. But you know, there's a lot there. There's a lot of memories, but you know, I didn't get to be with Grandma much between the time, what was that, 2010? So it was about 10 years of not being able to have her around much. And we got to visit her last year, 2 years ago. And we obviously lost my dad 2 2 years ago. So, you know, we're here to remember her, and obviously death is very real, very sobering, and I think of how, you know, I didn't know that I would get very emotional, but I saw the picture with her and Dad, and it's hard to think that Dad went first. But Dad comes, and you know, Dad went early, and on some level, you know, Grandma, she went a long time. Senile for the end there, but life is very mysterious, and I can say that I do hope, I have a hope in the afterlife, and I do hope and look forward to seeing her and Dad together. Maybe playing some cards.
Hi. My name is Erin, and my mother is Charlotte, Grandma's youngest daughter. Being here today in Nuuanu with Grandpa Cecil resting near us gives me all the feel-goods of what I love most of my childhood. As anyone blessed to grow up with grandparents knows, there's nothing more beautiful than the honor of having Grandpa and Grandma in your life. Fletcher, Amber, and I were the younger generation of Grandma's grandchildren. We were well taken care of by our older cousins, aunties, uncles, and of course, Grandpa and Grandma. As young kids, we loved our time with both of them. Grandpa would set up gadgets and games like standing long jump in the living room, while Grandma would prepare her namasu cucumbers and corned beef hash patties to enjoy. Even though Grandpa was the athlete, Grandma always made sure to tell us she was the tomboy in school and could throw a softball pretty good. Grandpa would pick us up from school in his blue car and then take us to pick up Grandma at her shop at the Hilton. Grandma was a hard worker and was proud to say that even though Grandpa worked at the bank, she was the money smart one. She'd say, you know, I never once bounced a check. And she also loved to shout out the multiplication table she knew by heart. What do you want to know? 4? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. What do you want to know? 7, 7, 14, and so on. Maybe that's why she was so good at playing cards and always carried a pocket poker machine to one day hit her royal flashing ring. Although Grandpa's sudden passing left us heartbroken, Grandma seemed to birth a new chapter in her life. She split her time living with Uncle Clint in California, visiting Auntie Salo and her siblings in Hawaii, and living with our family. Days before Grandma's arrival home, we went on speed clean mode to make sure our house was acceptable for her. Our living conditions were cozy, but Grandma fit right in, and when she arrived, it was as if she had never left us. She would unpack her immaculately packed suitcase and display on Tutu's crochet doily her Pond's cream, her pocket travel cloth, and including my favorite accessory, her artificial clip-on flowers. But these weren't like the fake swap meet kind. They were the real deal, beautiful and tasteful. We shared a bedroom together, and in the mornings, she would peep open her eyes while I was getting dressed for school and whispered, "Hey, you want Grandma press that for you?" And I would tell her, "Oh, no need, Grandma, thanks." I don't think we even had an iron in our house. Some of our favorite Grandma moments was seeing her in the living room, all decked out, ready to go, hours before going holo holo. She sat there in the koa chair, reading her newspaper through her Jackie O reading glasses. She would be sitting so check, with her purple camisole under her purple crochet top, with her perfectly matching purple polyester pants, socks and shoes, probably eating her favorite purple violet candy in her mouth. Another sweet time was at night laying in bed together. She would have her curlers covered by her brown scarf like in the video, and be just finished with her nighttime reading material, the National Enquirer, that she read for the recipes she said. As we began to fall asleep, I would hear her whisper the Lord's Prayer. She did that every night, and that was how we both fell asleep. Grandma was so proud of her family. She had 14 grandchildren, she would tell people. She took such good care of herself, but she took even greater care of her family. She loved her memories of growing up in Moloa'a, Lihue, and always treasured her beautiful Kauai. In the later years, she had trouble remembering faces, but Mom said that during her last visit with Grandma this December, the last thing Grandma said to Mom was, "I love you, Charlotte." Also on that same visit, when they were saying goodbye, she says to Mom, "Approximately when will you come back?" She still had her spunk, her love, and her gusto. This is what I will always remember about Grandma Pua. She was a practitioner of aloha, love, pono, righteousness, malama, caring, and spirituality. In Hawaiian culture, the grandparent was traditionally the teacher and caretaker of grandchildren, and that bond was especially strong. Grandma Pua was that teacher for me, and now, when I see my children loving and laughing with my mom, their treasured Nana, I can see that tradition living on. Love you, Grandma.
So as a tribute to Grandma Pua and our hometown, her granddaughters and great-granddaughters will now dance the hula to the song Beautiful Kauai.
Beautiful Kauai. There's an island across the sea. Beautiful Kauai. Beautiful Kauai. Florence calling, just calling to me. Beautiful Kauai. Beautiful Kauai. And the midst of fern grotto, Mother Nature made her home. And the fall of Wailua, where lovers often roam. So I'll return to my isles across the sea. Beautiful Kauai. Beautiful Kauai. Oh, where my true love is waiting for me. Beautiful Kauai. Beautiful Kauai. In the midst of fern grotto, Mother Nature made her home. In the fall of Wailua, where lovers often roam. So I return to my isles across the sea. Beautiful Kauai. Beautiful Kauai. Beautiful Kauai. Beautiful Kauai.
Now I'd like to ask Cecil Kosani to come and give words of gratitude from the family.
My mother was maybe the best PR person for our family. When I was born, November 23rd, 1941, when she introduced me, she'd always tell everybody he was the cutest baby in the hospital. You know, might have been 3 of us, but she said I was the cutest. Even though when I was 60, she gave me the same introduction. By then, we had it up to 14 at the hospital. They all wanted to feed me, the mothers. Corrupted me early. One year, going back to Hawaii, I think it was my sophomore year, going to be a junior. I brought a guy back home with me, and some friends of mine wanted to go to Hawaii. So we stayed at the Cocoa Palms, and one of the girls, they were aunties, owned the hotel, so they stayed for free. Well, they were there about 2 days, and the hotel got full. So now they're going to come back to Honolulu. So I said, nah, stay. You can stay at our house. We live right up the hill from the Cocoa Palms. And now I got to go and convince my father and mother. My father, I figured no problem. He was at work. But I got to go face my mom. So I go home. Mom, I got some friends in the hotel. You're getting thrown out. So I said, maybe if he said it was okay, you could stay at our house. She goes, oh, how many guys? 5 or 6. 5 or 6. I said, yeah, but they're not guys. They're actually girls. You know what she said? She looked at me and, what do they like to eat? I mean, that's my mom, right? We never, I quit debating with her when I was married. That was a good deal for me because, you know, she always went along. And she was right 99% of the time anyway, so if hey, don't debate, she wins 1% of my vote. And I never had a problem, you know, except maybe later in life when, you know, she's very, she keeps track of politics, reads all the paper into it, and who's the good guy, who's the bad guy. And she's really, really, really crazy about George Bush Sr. You know, like 20 years ago. So I'd like to kind of get on her case. George Bush, oh my God, I heard he's kind of, and that's not so good. She said, no, he is really, really good. So I said, Mom, tell me the truth. If I ran against George Bush for president, who would you vote for? She just pokes me in the chest. Of course I would vote for him. I said, him over your beloved son? She goes, of course, because I know you. You'd rather have fun than worrying about the problems of the world. She got me there also. Right? Very, very wise. You know, that's the way it was. One of the last times we saw her, she was early with Christine. And I haven't seen you for a long time. Were you in jail? I guess she still could figure out who was the good son and the bad son. I thought she was already going to move the other way. But anyway, you know, my mom was such a special person. She never said no to any of us. She told me a lot of times, you know what you're doing now might be the dumbest thing you ever did. You know, when she found out I was going to go to New Guinea about 10 years ago, she was, that was the dumbest thing you ever did. What are you going to do? You know, guys up in the mountains, you know. But that was mommy. We're very fortunate. She was a very lucky person. Loved everybody, loved all my friends. Everybody was was the smartest, the best. The girls all looked like Miss Universe, even if they didn't look like Miss Universe. She would say something nice about their families, so they could believe that they really, you know, the grandma had the nicest plants on Hawaii. My uncle was the best fisherman, he could get whatever. You know, so we all learned that from her. She's very good at sharing with everybody. Everybody was special. She and my dad were, you know, they were very welcoming to everybody. We're lucky to share her. You know, what? Watching everybody up here, beautiful girls dancing, her grandchildren sit about her. You know, it's basically a reflection of her. You know, so we're sad today, but you know, we still live on. What she projected, that's really going to be forever. So, in closing, I'm really, really happy to see everybody here. It's very, very great to share comfort from people we love. So all of you being here, you know, the family really appreciates everything, kind words, love. And Sal, our family from Hawaii, you know, it's wonderful. Auntie Salo and Mommy were the 500 champs. If they had a gold medal at the Olympics, they might win. You know, look at each other. I don't know if they give these signals, but we could never figure it out. But they always, you know, the last time we got together was playing 500. Clint and I were partners at their house in Nancy and Queens. I don't know the last time, what a wonderful time that was. So, Auntie Salo, and all her Auntie Emma's daughters, well, I was expecting here, members, siblings, and Nancy. I got to tell one story. One more story about my brother. This is going back to 1961. It's Thanksgiving Day on my birthday, November 23rd. Oahu is playing Roosevelt from the ILA Championship. It's a big deal. They had really, really good teams. So in the morning, having breakfast with Mom, my dad, and I, and Clint. He's ready to eat breakfast and go to school and get ready and go to the stadium. So we're talking about the game naturally, and my dad is telling me, you know, do the best you can. You know, good luck. You guys are gonna win. And Clint said, oh yeah, by the way, you know, after the game, he had a date with this girl. His first date with this girl. She was really cute, and he was going to take her out. It was his first date. She saw him meet her. Oh, okay, boom. So I was joking around and said, look, hey, you really want to impress her, you better score a couple of touchdowns. So Grandma Pua, she goes, couple. He's going to score 3. That's the championship meeting. So we're all laughing. Boom, he takes off. We go to the game, and Clint has one of the great games in the history of the school. On the stadium, he scores 4 touchdowns, had 1 more ball back, 1 whole wins. It was an incredible day for Thanksgiving. That night, Clint went out. He was gone. He comes back when we're still there, late. Because, you know, we're still talking about the game. Hey, you know, put on, 100 times we recap the same game. And Clint comes in, talking about the game. So finally somebody says, how's your day? He goes, that's the girl who married on his first day. That's not fun. Isn't that wonderful? And now, Alabama, went to California in 1988 after Daddy died. You know, they made a really nice life for her. Met a lot of wonderful people. Hey, I got my granddaughters there from that relationship. So, hey, that's our family. Nancy, I want to thank Nancy and for helping my mom, you know, get through a really tough time losing my dad. We're really lucky. You know, we're lucky to get friends and relatives like that. So, in closing, I want to thank everybody for being here. Scott, thank you a lot. It was a really, really nice presentation. You know, it's really wonderful. Girls dancing. Hey, Joni, I mean, she helped the girls. My mom was a girl. She's a chat. She's a chat. She's great. Again, anyway, thank you all for coming, and you know, God bless you.
This concludes the memorial service for Florence Pua Albao. Please join us after the service for refreshments, and everyone's invited to stay and eat their own food. The burial will be at 12:30 p.m. for the immediate family. But once again, thank you everyone for coming, and please drive home safely.
Alright, aloha folks. Thank you for being part of this and allowing us here at Oahu Mortuary to be a part of this celebration of life and remembrance. So Sam, you wanna come? Just give me 2 minutes, I promise I'll run back.
The roses.
You need all the roses? No, I got them. Thank you. There's all the flowers and there's the gardenias and stuff. You want to come?
Inside I have these things that will run and when I try to hear your voice above the storms of life, then I remember all the things that I was told.
The brain muffin was a body.
To see the beauty
Maybe Amber?
Hey, slow down the brain.
We're single digits.
David, is it possible for them to put a full hop over there? Okay. It's good. Yes, we're gonna close. Yeah, we're gonna close it.
I am sitting here wanting memories to teach me to see the beauty in the world through my own eyes.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Whispers all I need to hear. I know the reason, thank you and the smiles in my heart. I know that I am you and you are me and we are one. I know that who I am is numbered in each grain of sand. I know that I've been blessed again and over again. I am sitting here wanting memories to teach me to see the beauty in the world through my own eyes. I am sitting here wanting memories to teach me to see the beauty in the world through my own eyes.
Oh, yes. The last time we went and saw her, asked how she was. I remember she used to see it every time. Yeah, no one heard you. Yeah. He's like, you look small. She's like, no, you look shrimpy. It's like, you don't work out anymore? I'm like,
Excuse me, folks, right behind you.
Always more than a friend, you have been someone I can talk to, with no need at all to pretend that I was something or someone else, afraid of what was round the bend, high up on the shelf again, and then you came and said hello. Like a million times before, but this hello is different now. This hello means more. So I go to the light to see my Jesus. I go to the light to see my friend. I go to the light because I love him. And when my time is through, he'll take me to a place where love never ends. I've been searching a long, long time, trying to find the answers to the questions hiding inside. Happy sometimes and sometimes sad, lost in my emotions, caught between the good and the bad. Now take my hand, help to make me understand. You're yours the strength and yours the power, now and evermore. So I go through the light to see my Jesus. I go through the light to see my friend. I go through the light because I love him. And when my time is, take me to a place where love never ends. For you, the angel voices on So I go to the light to see my Jesus. I go to the
Folks, this concludes the service for today. Thank you so much for allowing us to be part of this great memory here. And thank you, Scott, for all your help and all you did. And everybody be safe going home. Thank you for all who flew in. And aloha, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, David. Please send my best to Gloria.
I will.
Yes.